third death of Mossad agent Simon Elliott al-Baghdadi actually signifies a major Middle East change, where only a few die-hard corporate propaganda Q8 drinkers actually believe the US announcement that master terrorist al-Baghdadi was killed yet again. This time, it actually means something, Pentagon sources say. The third announcement of his death means that the US President Donald Trump is poised with Russian help to cut off illegal oil, arms, human and drug trafficking that benefit the Zionists, the CIA, and the deep state, they explain. Basically, now that the pretense of fighting ISIS or Al-Qaeda or whatever brand they use has blown up, Trump is now openly telling the truth that the wars in the Middle East are about stealing oil. The fact that Trump mentioned Rockefeller-controlled ExxonMobil by name as a company that can develop Syrian oil fields also means Trump is now an official spokesperson of big oil. In any case, Gordon Dove, a veteran today who has better Middle East sources than his writer, says Mossad agent Simon Elliott aka al-Baghdadi is actually still alive. Presumably, he's enjoying his official death in a safe house along with his Mossad buddy Jeffrey Epstein. This picture of CIA agent Tim Osman, aka Bin Laden, with his handlers sent to us by the German support, what Dove reports. While we cannot confirm if these pictures are genuine, the story they convey has been confirmed to us by multiple sources over the years. Meanwhile, in a sign the undeclared civil war in the US is reaching a crescendo, the list of missing politicians in Washington, D.C. keeps growing. Neither House Speaker Nancy Pelosi or House Intelligence Committee head Adam Schiff have appeared in public since their sudden trip to Jordan last week. House Republican Whip Skip Scarlett tried to keep up pretense with his widely quoted tweet. My colleague and I went to confront Skip face-to-face in his locked room in Capitol basement to see what he's been hiding. When we got there, he immediately shut down the hearing and fled with the witness. However, a college in Washington, D.C. with a press pass says Pelosi, Skip, and many others have not been seen in public during the past week, and no new videos of them has been emerged either. Former CIA Chief John Brennan, who was constantly in media, also not been seen in public for 2 weeks, the journalist also noted. Also, the fact that corporate media reports concerning the ongoing Ukraine impeachment proceedings against Trump now quote politicians other than Skip or Pelosi lends credibility to the idea that they are gone. Also, the fact that corporate media reports concerning the ongoing Ukraine impeachment proceeding against Trump now quote politicians other than Skip or Pelosi lends credibility to the idea that they are gone. Pentagon sources explain, as seal indictments reach 130,000, many notables may choose death over dishonor, gitmo, or military tribunals, and they may be given the Romer treatment. Field Marshal Erwin Rommel was given the option to commit suicide and be eulogized as a war hero after his failed coup attempt against Adolf Hitler. So keep an eye out of the announcement of the ultimate death of war hero General James Mattis and some of his college. The latest official death announcement was the long-serving African-American Congressman John Conyers, who was out in 2017 for sexual misconduct, was killed by his Detroit mob bosses as the money from Syria and Iraq is getting blocked, the Pentagon sources say. Asked about the Russia-Gate investment on Friday, Trump said, I can't tell you what's happening, but I'll tell you this. I think you're going to see a lot of really bad things. I think you'll see things that nobody would have believed, he added. Trump also hinted last week that former President Barack Obama has been executed when he publicly accused him of a capital offense of treason. What they did was treasonous, okay? It was treasonous. The Pentagon's president, who we installed to counter the Khazarian mafia, has hit back at Russian intelligence rubbish, which sadly was cobbled together by one of our own in London. Needless to say, there are some very uncomfortable people in London on the receiving end, was how a senior MI6 source described the action in Washington, D.C. At the end of the day, Western intelligence agencies have been accidentally working at cross purposes, he added. This is now being corrected, he said. In the meantime, the rest of the world is getting fed up with all the pro-right activities in Anglo-Saxon's political world. After the Islamic State was ultimately defeated by the Syrian government army with the support of Russian aerospace forces in early 2008, yet another death of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi will have no impact either on the situation in Syria or on the actions of terrorists staying in Egypt. Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said. TASS also quoted recently released Russian agent Maria Butina as saying, "The U.S. has lost its judicial system." The official Chinese Xinhua news agency, for its part, after quoting Trump about al-Baghdadi, noted that, over the years, al-Baghdadi has been reported multiple times to have been killed. Of course, the Turks, Iranians, and others have been publicly saying similar things. Simultaneously, the US plan to use India as a counterbalance to China blew up as India suspended its defense cooperation with the US last week. What all this means is that the US regime and its senior controllers are losing the ability to control the plot. This is happening even inside of the countries they are still controlled like the US. An example of this was seen when Democratic candidate Tulsi Gabbard said in a presidential debate that the US was sponsoring Al-Qaeda. She won the debate with 40% support while official top runners like Elizabeth Warner and Joe Biden got 7%, according to a Drudge Report poll. Then, in Orwellian move, the National Democratic Party committee announced she does not have enough support to participate in the next debate. Meanwhile, California is burning again. Japanese military intelligence sources say the California fires of recent years are being deliberately set to prepare land for a railway link from California to China via Alaska. This is being done as a part of a deal to prevent the bankruptcy of the US corporate government, the sources say. The map at the link of past fires show they do indeed appear to be in a good line formation, along what would be a good route for a railroad. The other thing to note about the US is that a sudden, radical spike of loan downgrades is the latest clear sign that some sort of financial black swan event is imminent. According to European royal family sources, negotiations are continually toward a truly global BIS, IMF, World Bank, US statement, making the case for permanent peace and prosperity. The IMF, France and Germany, and the Vatican, P2 Freemasons, the Swiss, the City of London, are all involved in these negotiations, the source says. The British are pushing for a meritocratically staffed future planning agency to be set up to oversee this, while the Vatican controllers of the old system want to put the IMF in charge, he says. A compromise that will give both a role is being worked out, he added. Of course, the Chinese and Asian would have to approve, he said. The Chinese are holding a special meeting this week to discuss this along with other issues, Asian secret society sources say. The military-industrial complex, for its past, has by releasing patents on UFO technology, compact fusion reactors and other wonders, indicating that it is ready for a search to plot shares transformations. As a part of this, Boeing may be subject to military control, with former Naval Chief Admiral John Rickerson parachuted to this board, as CEO Dennis Minnebrook may be fired soon, Pentagon sources say. The Pentagon is also thinking of shaking up the bloated and inefficient U.S. military-industrial complex by sharing technology with and open up some defense contract bidding to Russian companies, sources say. In any case, we can expect more drama over the coming weeks and months as the old system collapsed. The question is, will it be a controlled demolition followed by the reconstruction, or will it be a descent into chaos, anarchy, and misery? Our sources are saying a controlled demolition and a phoenix-like emergence of something new and better is the most likely scenario. Meeting scheduled for November involving the Pope, the Asians in the Pentagon may prove decisive. Also, why I'm not a big UFO or alien guy? I've been told it's a good time to keep your eyes on the sky and look out for unusual events like giant holograms.